Is oral sex with an escort safe? Oral sex with an escort. Have you ever found yourself asking the question, should I have oral sex with an escort? Ask this question to a family member or a friend, and you probably run the risk of being judged right off the bat for even considering paying for it. That's probably part of the reason that you're here. The only other reason that I can think of is that you're having or have had a discussion with some acquaintances of the more open-minded sort, and you're hoping this article will add some sort of insight. It will, hopefully. Here goes. Should you have oral sex with an escort? Approaching the question of having oral sex with an escort is a good way, means breaking that question down into three better questions. This will allow you to answer the question for yourself in a more practical and logical way rather than in an emotional way. That is especially true if you've already done it and now you're trying to reason whether or not you made a good decision. The first question, should you have oral sex? You need to understand the dangers and risks of having oral sex in general to answer this question. No one can tell you if you should or shouldn't. The aim should be to educate you regarding the risks and let you make your own decision. Let's take a look at some of the risks. Chlamydia. Chlamydia is a sexually transmitted disease caused by a bacteria called Chlamydia trachomatis. It can spread from person to person during sexual intercourse. When a person's mucous membranes come in contact with the vaginal secretions or semen of an infected person, chlamydia can be transmitted without complete insertion of a penis into the vagina or anus. It is less likely, although possible, to be transmitted to the throat during oral sex. It can also be passed from mother to newborn during childbirth. Chlamydia infections are treatable and curable with antibiotics. Gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted disease caused by a type of bacteria called Neisseria gonorrhea. It can be transmitted to both male and female partners during vaginal, anal, and oral sex from a partner infected in his or her throat, vagina, urethra, or anus. Gonorrheal infections are completely curable with antibiotics. NGU, also called non-specific urethritis. This is an infection in the male urethra caused by a bacteria such as chlamydia, mycoplasma, ureaplasma, and trichomoniasis. NGU is passed from one person to another during anal, vaginal, and possibly oral sex. Symptoms may include a mild discharge from the head of the penis and pain or burning upon urination. Female partners of men with NGU need to be treated as if they have chlamydia. Antibiotics are used to cure NGU. Herpes. Herpes is a sexually transmitted disease caused by two herpes simplex virus, or caused by the herpes simplex virus, HSV, type 1 and type 2. It is transmitted from person to person via direct skin-to-skin contact during oral, anal, and vaginal sex. HSV usually causes fever, blisters, and cold sores in the mouth, but can also cause sores on the genitals. HSV2 usually causes sores on the genitals, vagina, penis, anus, and the skin around those areas. The majority of oral herpes cases are caused by HSV1, and the majority of genital herpes cases are caused by HSV2. However, since so many people are now having oral sex, type 1 is increasingly appearing in the genitals. HSV is different from other common viral infections because once it's introduced into your system, it lives there forever, often with periodic symptoms or without symptoms at all. Syphilis. Syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease caused by a type of bacteria called T. pallidum. It can spread from person to person by physical contact during vaginal, anal, or oral sex. Syphilis infections are treatable and curable with antibiotics. The second question, should you have any type of sex with an escort? Not a difficult question at all. For all of the different opinions out there, most based on morality, it really just comes down to your personal view of paying for sex. Some would say that you are less of a man or a woman for doing so and not getting it through your manly devices. Some folks, in contrast, would say that in terms of money, it's actually less expensive than paying for dinner, movies, entertainment, lost time, headaches, emotional stress, etc. You get the idea. Ultimately, it comes down to you and your thoughts towards the idea. Exercise your own judgment based on and rooted in reality. The third question: is sex with an escort any different than sex with any other person? Short answer: no. Long answer: that's complicated. The reason it can be complicated to answer that question is because it really comes down to the person that you're dealing with, whether the person is an escort or not. Some escorts can be more strict about practicing safe sex, and they can also be more adamant about personal cleanliness. Works both ways. The opposite can also be true. For example, if you happen to be dealing with someone who is at a low place in their life, they might actually just not give a damn and have decided to simply live in the moment. You really don't know. The thing about this is that it can be exactly the same for someone who is not an escort. It comes down to how the person is living their life. In short, the main disadvantage when entertaining sex, including oral sex with an escort, is that you don't have the benefit of time spent with that person to get a better idea of which person you're dealing with. The answer to your question depends on how you feel about that, because that's the main factor. So I hope this was helpful in making that decision or reasoning the decision that you've already made. In any case, be careful out there. Take care.